now is the time for our second resource person of the evening. She is Dr. Charushila Patil, Assistant Professor in English, Singhad College of Arts, Commerce, Narhe, Pune. A brief CV of her is here. Dr. Charushila Patil has completed her post-graduation in English. She's a SET, MPhil, and PhD from the Department of English, Savitri Bai Phule Pune University. Madam has also completed a minor research project on the use of audiovisual aids for teaching English. She has 18 years of teaching experience. She has also shouldered the responsibilities like students welfare officer, academic and research coordinator, center coordinator, board of extramural studies, and a member of college development committee, etc. She has participated in various state, national, and international conferences in India and abroad. Dr. Charushila is awarded with a gold medal for the session's best presentation on ponderings on the dimensions of Indian culture at an international conference held at Bali, Indonesia. There are more than 15 research papers to her credit that are published in national and international peer-reviewed journals and 4 articles in books with ISBN number. Madam is a recipient of Young Teacher Fellowship for participation in international conference at Deepu campus, Guwahati, Assam, and for participation in international conference at Bali, Indonesia. Dr. Charushila Patil believes in learning by doing and is ready to walk an extra mile for better results, which we all aspire for as academicians. Now, I welcome Dr. Charushila Patil. Please, ma'am, begin.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Can you all hear me, ma'am? Manpreet, ma'am?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. We can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
We can hear you. You are audible to us. Please begin your lecture. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. Let me greet by good evening to all the participants from Asia and across the world.
Good evening, ma'am.
Today, when I was listening to the previous 2 speakers, I was about to say, oh, I have got this point to answer. I've got this point to answer. And finally, the moment has come that I could share my ideas, I could share my thoughts, and with you people. Basically, whatever I'm going to present is not something that was there in the book, but something that I tried as a teacher, and I felt that these experiments should be taken to a larger platform so that many people can learn from it, or maybe they can get an insight of it, or can get an idea about what can be done. So my topic for today's presentation is I'll share my presentation, then we can start with this. Yeah, presentation. Now, this particular thought came to my mind when I was looking at the brochure and then I thought, yeah, I have got an interesting piece of information that I can share with this through this platform. And that's why the title came to my mind, that teaching with value education. Now, when we talk about value education, these are not something as a prescribed one, but they are something that are practiced usually in the society. Then here, if you can see, if you Google it, you will find a list of value education like this, which says that you should be caring, compassionate, or doing your best for fair, go, freedom, honesty, etc. Now, if you go with these headings, this will merely sound words, but it takes a lot of efforts. It takes a lot of nurturing of your mind and personality in order to imbibe these values in us, or among, especially among the
Sorry to
students.
interrupt you,
And
ma'am.
that's why I thought of that.
Sorry to interrupt you. If you can just begin with a slideshow view.
Okay. Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So if you apparently see, these seems to be the words, but they are loaded with meaning if we practice it. Now, yeah, that's it's a human life or existence is based on values. Um, Somewhere I heard that words tell about the emotions and emotions tell about the personality of the person. So this goes that whether a person has rich with values or ethics, and that is reflected through his personality, through his behavior. And as I said earlier, that there are no prescribed rule books, for value education. But I here distinctly remember what my father used to tell, and and he used to quote his teacher long back. He used to say, one of my teacher, and he used to say that virtues are not to be taught, but they should be caught. That you should learn it from the people. All the good things should be learned on one's own. So virtues are not to be taught, but they should be caught. So hence the value system is based on our existence in the society that we live in. Now, how can we imbibe these value systems among the students, or how can we do that? So these are the three things that I could think of, or it could be many, but while preparing, these are the three things came to my mind. Yeah, one, by showing what is the reality, what is the fact. And then because if you can understand, there is a difference between classroom learning and learning in the real world. And every learner is a different learner. And as I personally believe that all the classrooms are meant for the students, but all the students are not meant for the classrooms. So you need to understand what kind of methodology needs to be adopted for teaching particular thing. So you can use that various methods for teaching. So either you can show them, either you can sensitize them towards various realities of the world and the society, and then by involving them in that particular action. So if you involve them, the result is at a higher level, because they really are the part of that, and that's why they can understand more. So yeah, here let me begin with what I try to explain, what I'm trying to say until now. This was a particular an activity that our college used to conduct since 4 or 5 years, way back from 2009 to 2013, something like that. And that time we used to organize 10-day soft skills development program, and it was for all the third year students. So majority of the speakers for teaching all these are the topics that we used to cover that time in those 10 days. And these are something that will reshape their personality of the 11 the lecture usually starts at 10 o'clock, and I got the message around 9 or quarter to 9, something like that. So I was very much panic. Oh my god, now how should I do? The resource person is not available now today, and the show must go on. So they say that the necessity is the mother of invention. And that time something I don't know how, why, when, but an idea came to my mind, and then I decided, now these are 28 or 30 students, so let me do something. And so as a result of those 28 students, I divided those students into 4 groups, and then I gave them 100 rupees each. And then I said, okay, you can take this 100 rupees. Each group is given 100 rupees as a capital, and then they are supposed to do whatever they want to do with that 100 rupees. But the timing is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And at 4 p.m. I was supposed to meet them at one place which is famous in Pune city. So I said, I will meet you people there at 4 o'clock. So if you come there, I will discuss, let's see who performs what out of those 100 rupees. And then, yes, I didn't think much of that. And I thought that, okay, let me be there at 4 o'clock. So meanwhile, I got a camera, and then I reached at that place called Sarasbagh, which is there in Pune. So once I reached there, I saw the groups coming. I saw a group came first, and then that particular group was that group reached there first. So I asked them, okay, they started telling me what they have done. Then I said, no, just wait. We'll have something more thing to know about. So that group was there. Then second group came. Then the third group came, and all the groups, when they came, then I made each group to stand and give their presentation, that what did they do of those 100 rupees. And then after when I started listening, I was really surprised to know what they can do and what they have done. So there was a group of students who decided that, okay, with those 100 rupees, they purchased stationery items, small stationery items like pencils, rubber, or pen, something like that. And then they said that, ma'am, we got the stationery items, but there was a challenge that where to sell those items. So 3 of us decided that we'll go and stand at the road signal, and we wait. That. Now there was another group. Then I was excited to listen to other group. Then the other group said, ma'am, actually we were thinking of various other ideas, but since we were running short of time for that idea, we decided we'll go and help somebody. So so we went nearby. So we went nearby our college area, and there was a bungalow, and coincidentally there were one old couple living there as the old lady. And when they went to request her that can you give us some work, or then she said, I don't have any work, but since because of old age I cannot clean the bungalow campus. So if you can do that, all the students said, yes, we can do that. And then they cleaned the whole bungalow campus, and then they said, whatever money you want to give us, you can give us. So that lady gave them some money for their doing that service. And then the third group, where actually there was only one boy and the rest of the girls were there. So they could think of, okay, what should we do then? And those girls said, ma'am, we went in a sari shop, and then we requested that shop. We that hold the saris or help you in your work with that. Okay, he said, yes, you can help me in that work. And there was a last group who was there, and they knew that in that on that particular day there was the cultural celebration day or traditional day, what we call as in our college. So they realized that the girls, wear that gajra. All us there. It's like a flower which is made up with the flowers. So and then that group reached quite early to that place. This is called that you can see in photo. So that they reached a little early than these three groups. So meanwhile, they saw some foreigners are there in that garden, and then they said, okay, the girl who there was a girl in that group who could draw very good mehndi. That is some like, now if you say tattoo, we can say traditional celebration, we use it. So that girl went with that cone, mehndi cone, and she went to that foreigner and he said, do you want to draw mehndi? So he said, what is it? So she said, it's a kind of a tattoo and it will have a color. Once you remove it, it will be colorful. So quite interestingly, the foreigner said, yes, you can draw it. And so she drew that mehndi on the hands of those two foreigners. Then while asking money, she said, usually it is 10 rupees. But then she said, no, you have to pay 50 rupees. So he asked, how come 50 rupees? Because the girl says that in our college, when there are, means usually it is the students, international students pay 5 times double fees. So you are a foreigner and you should pay 5 times more than what we actually charge as a foreigner. So 50 rupees cost for for a hand. Was that something that was done? So these are the 4 groups, and to a great surprise, I did not even imagine that what they can do. And finally, you will be surprised to know that how much these students earned money. Is that, let me show you. This is that they are telling that what they did, and I was writing the numbers, and they look at, if you can see, the boy is counting the coins. And here, see, the amount these groups earned was 3.5 times more than the capital given to them. And they made 400 rupees. So that was something made them involved. And but the real lessons that they learned was next to explain. So when I asked, okay, what you will do with that 1,452 rupees? Now you have got a lot of money to spend as a party. And immediately they said, no, ma'am, we are not going to we are not going to have a party with this money. We are going to spend it. I've also learned the dignity like this, but now we have understood the value of money. And so this is something that I could make them realize. And throughout the later on, means as long as they were in the college campus, I could see the change in their behavior, the way they were earlier and the way later on. Okay, so this was one attempt that I tried to involve them in some activities, and then could teach something through that. Now, as a teacher, I always believe that, to the students, exposed to the world. As a teacher of English, at least I should make them more responsible learners. And when they will become responsible learners, they can do their best when they will step out from the college. So it was in BA compulsory English, there was a textbook, and in that textbook, there was one lesson called A Speech by Barack Obama. Now, why my intention of this particular lesson, teaching this particular lesson in a different way, was to make them speak in a class, because usually the students do not speak in class, and that's the reason, though they understand, they are not confident in their speech when they go out. So I thought of this idea that, okay, ask some students to be part of this activity. So when I said we are going to have a role play, and this is a lesson in compulsory English, a speech by Barack Obama, the US president. So one of the students, and we were having international students, and most of them were from Afghanistan. So when the student, he told me, ma'am, I'm willing to, I will play that role of Barack Obama. So yes, I said, no, actually there were 3 students, but then he was the one who used to speak less in class. So I told him that, Ahmed, you have to speak, you have to be a part of this role play. So that time, quite surprisingly, he said, yes, ma'am, okay, I'll do that. And then on the second day, when I saw, when I reached to the college, and when the class timing came near, I was just passing from the corridor, and I saw Ahmed was coming to the college. And the way he was coming, it has surprised me, because he that day he was not a college going student. That day he had put on the blazer and even the pant, means all those presidential look, as if he has put on all the presidential clothes, as if to carry, as if he's a president. And I realized, oh my God, this is something that he has actually, he has taken it so seriously. And then I went to the class, and we had a class there. So, all the students were then very curious, okay, how he will, the psychology of the students. So they all came. Those who were not coming to the class, otherwise they have also joined the class, because they knew that today something different is going to be in the class. So when Ahmed started, and he stood on the near that podium, exactly in the same way as if President of US is delivering the speech. And then he read the speech very well. So I could understand that the way he was reading, he was very confident in the speech what he was reading. And the gist of that lecture was something else, that once he finished with that speech, some of the students, and they were his classmates only, but they tried to, there was a student who asked a question which was regarding the relationship between, the political relationship, international relationship between Afghanistan and America. And actually that was a very difficult situation for me also, because how Ahmed will answer to this question, I was surprised. But then to my great surprise, Ahmed answered the way as if an American president should answer. Like, he put himself as a president of America, and though he was a citizen of Afghanistan. So that was something, made me realize that, look at this. This is something, basic thing that he understood, is that when you are there in the role, you have to be true to your role. And that is what Ahmed did. And of course, as a teacher, I could make him speak in the class. And of course, from then onwards, at least I think some change he must have. Now, what is that of so many religions, caste, creed? We are living together all happily in India. And we are not only living happily, but we respect each other's cultural activities or cultural celebrations, etc. Now, what happened one day? Since we know that in India we have many holidays, depending on the regional festivals or national festivals, etc. So there was a student from Afghanistan, and he wa- uh, he used to be very regular in class. And it so happened that in that particular week there were three holidays came, one today is the college, then next day is a holiday, then again college, and then next 2 days will be the holiday. So and when the next week when I went to class, this man, he was a student of political science, and he was also from Afghanistan. And he was so surprised, means actually I say no, he was very curious, not surprised, he was very curious. And when I was before I began my class, he said, "Ma'am, I want to ask something." So I said, "Okay, if I can answer, I'll try my level best." So he said, "Ma'am, in India there are so many holidays." Oh my God. So, and I knew why the holidays were there. But then I said, yeah, because India respects all the religions, and that's why we celebrate all the festivals, and that's why there are so many holidays. And maybe you are not aware of it, but that's what we call it as unity in diversity. So he said, so his reaction was, something different, So his facial expressions I could read, and that's why this is something that you have to make students realize to respect the culture of all the people, everybody. Yeah, this is again teach them to care for others. Now, this is something. These are, as I said, not a theory as such. So here again, I was teaching. What is that? There was a lesson on encyclopedia. So how to read encyclopedia. So that was the lesson. But while teaching that lesson, I realized that nearby Pune, that is around 900 kilometers away from Pune, there is a place called Mahabaleshwar. You must have heard, or it is, but Mahabaleshwar, it's a resort place. But before that, 20 kilometers ahead, before, and this why thought that I should take these students to see that encyclopedia center. And then after that, visiting that encyclopedia center, we have also planned a place where there was a mentally retarded students were there. So we this is how we planned. And then we went to see that encyclopedia center, where the students have seen and how encyclopedias are made, how they are arranged, how new words are added, etc. And after that, we went to that particular school called Y Akshar Institute, and it was a school which was there for mentally retarded students. And these students, as I said, that these students from our college, they used to spend a lot of money. And when I took them to this Y Akshar Institute, they realized the pains of their life, because they saw that how those mentally retarded children are living their life. So there was one student called Rahmatullah, and I know that he used to spend a lot of money. By looking his lifestyle, we could make out. So when that student was there in the school, he is the student, actually. You can see him, the one who is talking. So after looking at those children, he realized that, oh my God, life is something like this. Life can be like this also. And so he shared his ideas, and he said that this is some you have see, it is good that we could meet these children and we could realize the real world in. And then no teacher has told him to get something, but he went down, he purchased sweets and many more toys for these children, and he came with those, and then he said, ma'am, I want to gift this to these children. So you can see it in the picture. And that student who used to spend on anything, like he gifted those toys and sweetmeats to those children. So somewhere I realized that he has realized the compassion, he has realized the human what existence, and then on the basis of that he was moved by that, and that's the reason that he acted like, means he brought all those things as a sense of responsibility, or sense of feeling towards them, some kind of a feeling towards them. So this we have can done. And then these are the pictures where actually I in an earlier slide I mentioned that when we were learning as an English teacher, we have a wide variety of topics. So these are the students. Actually, they were taken to another field visit, and that field visit is if you sometimes come to Pune, you do visit this place. It has a national importance in the history of India. That is Aga Khan Palace, where the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, used to live for some time. And so then I said, if I teach them only through the books, how Gandhiji was, what are his principles, and how he tried to reform the society, how he fought for the nation. So why not take them to a place where they can see little more information about Gandhiji? And that's the reason I had taken these students to a place called Aga Khan Palace, where I could introduce them with some other aspects of Gandhiji's life. So this was one more move towards giving them the real or field-based education. Now, as I said, involving the students in teaching. So make them the responsible learners. Perhaps they will be more active learners rather than simply the passive learners. And then the teachers claim that they do not bring any change in the students. Yes, the teachers can bring the change in the students if they involve them in the learning process, because that makes the student understand what is going wrong, what are his weaknesses, how he can improve, the ways in which he can look for various other sources to learn. So this is something that, yes, he was teaching in some other, I think one poem he's talking about. Okay, now this is we usually as a teacher, as I said earlier also, if we stick only to the textbook, perhaps you may not introduce them to the real world. So get as many as you could share as many as experiences with the students, which will make them or understand them the real world around. And it's not that every lesson should be learned by oneself only, because in the lifespan, in a so short lifespan, one cannot live all the experiences of this life. So you can exchange your experiences with the students, which you think they will earn something, learn something out of it. Usually, why I have mentioned this 300 rupees extra, I have purposely mentioned this experience here. Usually, we do not trust people, at least in case of money. Okay, we often say that no, it's money matter. We have to be more strict. So there are many, but with the time constraint, I may not share all of them, but I'll share with at least this only. So I received one fine day, me and my sister and my mother, we went to buy saris. And after buying the sari, the cost was something around 15,000 rupees, 3 saris as such. So I gave a bundle of 10,000 rupees, 100 rupees each. That is, it was a bundle of 100 rupees, and the cost of it is 10,000 rupees, and 5,000 rupees in the form of 500 rupees notes. So, and we got the saris and we reached home, and around 9 o'clock, I received a call. And what was that call? And this was during the examination time, so I thought of the student is calling me regarding tomorrow's examination. So first of all, I saw it's a new number. I don't know who is he, but later on, after some time, I got the phone call again. And then I received. So the man on the other side, he said, ma'am, you have come to our shop today in the afternoon. So I said, yes, yes, I was there with my sister. He said, yeah, you were with your sister. So I said, yeah. So he said, ma'am, the 10,000 rupees bundle that you gave, it has 300 rupees extra. And so you should come and collect those 300 rupees anytime when you come to the city. So I was, first of all, I was taken aback. And I did not think of, that anyone can return like this. He said, no, ma'am, I'm Mustafa speaking from this sari shop. And today you came to buy the sari from us. So I think in that 10,000 rupees bundle, there are 300 rupees extra. So whenever you come to city, please collect it. So that has made me realize, that why people all the time keep talking about, no, it is a money matter and we should take care of it. It's not that the world is full of all the cheating people who are cheating each other, or people who are do not have trust with each other. So Labs called me, but he called and told. So it's not a matter of 300 rupees, but it's the principle that this was having. Need to be very true to yourself. Unless you are not true to yourself, you cannot tell to anybody, and that's why you cannot walk candidly and confidently. One should have the courage. If you reach late to the office, do we have the courage to write the timing that we have reached, unless we have that biomet? Yeah, this is something that I want the students. What happens most of the times, we always make or we have been always learn from the failures also, and it is not perhaps if you from that failure also you learn many things. And if you learn many things, then I think you are enriching yourself more than failures. We should always encourage students to go for the career paths which have not been trodden. And see, in that case, you can just inform what are you have to have a calculated risk, you can tell. So these are the things that if you practice this, you will benefited with this. And if you lose this, you will not lose, but you will gain something out of it. So you have to encourage the students in such a way that they should not feel repentant on what they have done in their life. So that's why, this famous quotation of from Robert Frost's poem, the two roads diverged and I took the less traveled by. So it takes a lot of efforts to travel the untrodden path, but it is the untrodden path that gives you the identity, that gives you the new identity. If yesterday I was listening the commentary, and then the commentator said, there are no guts, then no glory. So you should have guts to become glorified person. Okay. So glorified in the sense to be a different person. So two roads diverged and I took the less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So if you want to be different, you have to walk a different path. Yes. Now in the God we trust. Yeah, this is actually something is that this I have purposely written. Actually, I wanted to stick the photo here of that American dollar, but since I was so many things has to pile up in a very short span of time, I could not. I was having that photograph, but I could not include in it. See, most of the time people say that there is no God, or there is, I wouldn't say that there is no God or there is, but teach them to believe in some power which is invisible, but who can control. Now we all can see that we all are saying that man is a superficial, man is a most powerful person. But now this pandemic situation, we all have realized that how we are fighting with each and every problems that the world is facing, and we do not have the solution to all the problems, though we are trying our level best. So here the idea is that a country we know as USA, which is considered as the most powerful country, they also believe that in the God we trust. If you read that line on the American dollar, it is stated that in the God we trust. Okay, so we should have faith in something. That's what I mean to say. Yeah, actually, since I'm talking about teaching and teaching as a value education, let me see if I can share. I have one video here which I wanted to say. Most of the English teachers must be acquainted with this letter, that is Abraham Lincoln's letter to his son's teacher. And in that, through that letter, what Abraham Lincoln is trying to say to his teacher, perhaps that will be a reminder to all of us that what is our role as such. Okay, okay, now should I escape so that I can go back to that video, or what should I do? Just a minute. Can someone tell me? Okay, anyway, I will read it from my slide, whatever I have planned. Okay, so these are the two these are the two videos that I wanted to show you here. But anyway, as you said, I can share that video here as a link in this thing. And yes, towards conclusion, actually this video would have been very interesting conclusion, and it always happens with me that I'm not good at handling this technology well. Let me see if I can share that in chat box. Okay. Okay. Now here, anyway, let me conclude. See, whatever I have tried to include in my presentation as an experience, they were my experiences. Of course, we are open to know from each other. And I think this was a platform where I thought that I should share these value education that I felt that I should be a part of, I should practice. And so, like they say that all the water that comes, that finally goes to the ocean. And so similarly, all the efforts of human being for being good, they reach towards the building a good human society and the humanity. So I think we all should respect each other. We should be honest with each other, and as I said, keep learning, keep doing, and the more you learn, the more you can share with people, and that is the way to maximize a better society, or build a good society. So I think I tried my level best. Those videos would have been the real gems of my crux of my class. Anyway, thanks the organizers for giving me an opportunity. And I'm also thankful to all those listeners who have lent a patient listening ear to me without any disturbance. So thank you so much once again. And yeah, I'm if you have any queries, questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Charushila Patil, for your wonderful session. This was really enlightening what you told us today. It was rather very informative also. And now I welcome all the questions from the participants.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you so much. And you rightly said that virtues are not to be taught, but they should be caught. And
Yes.
obviously, we have to make our students believe in learning by doing. And it was very interesting the way you made your students involved in different kind of activities, like role playing we can talk about. And rightly said that we have to believe in our students. So that means that we have to make our classroom teaching much more interesting. We have to blend our teaching with activity part. And I think that we have to move on from a traditional talk and chalk method to much more constructivist kind of a teaching. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was very interesting. Thank you. Over to Anita, ma'am.
Thank you, Ritu ma'am. And my wishes, especially congratulations to Charushila Patil ma'am. Your discourse was so wonderful based on the practical experiences of your life. It's really whatever you told us in your presentation. I was just missing our days before pandemic, because before pandemic we were also doing
Yeah.
activity based learning, and especially role playing is one of my favorite methods to teach in the classes. And that's really very amusing for teachers also. You become it's a kind of de-stressing yourself when you give them role modeling kind of thing, especially teaching Shakespeare plays, or maybe going with the poetry, or maybe going with, and I think plays are to be taught like that only. But I was just wondering throughout your presentation that maybe towards the end you are going to conclude with the some innovative ideas for the pandemic time, how to go in an activity based learning during the pandemic times, or through the technology mode, what we say the online kind of teaching. It has really marred the interest of the students as well as the teachers. Very difficult
Yeah.
to have the full attention of the students, and whether they are really they are receiving and or not, even we can't judge it when we are teaching online. And I have seen even in my homes, my teenage kids, those who literally connect to the class and then they do something else, and teacher is speaking over there, and I often tell them, see, I am also teacher, don't respect, just give respect to your teachers as my students. I would have to have respect from them. So it's very difficult. So what do you suggest for the online mode of teaching? Is there any other method which could attract those students?
Actually, you have asked me the question for which I was eager to answer.
Answer. Yes.
Yeah. And let me tell you, my experience in the lockdown was very enriching. And it was, you won't believe that every night when I used to go to bed, oh my God, I forgot to do this today. Oh my God, I forgot to do that today. So every now and then I was having so many ideas, with these to practice in class. And then I never faced this problem during the lockdown that, oh, the students are not joining. In fact, I received a message, ma'am, can we continue the class today? So that was for me, I think I'm going on the right track. That was my understanding. But let me give you a few examples that what has made them to be a part of that class, without giving any excuse. First of all, as I said, that a teacher makes, unless the teacher makes the students a responsible learner, the students are not going to do it. Okay. Secondly, you must have seen that when we are saying, when we are teaching, it's most of the time one-way communication. And we all say that in lockdown or during this digital or online teaching, it is only the teacher speaks. No, I did not allow the students to stay back and listen leisurely to me only. It was very interactive. Like, for example, I have prepared my presentation on this particular class. So my slides are open. So I'm not going to read all those slides. So it is you who are going to read first slide. The second student will read the second slide. And in that way, I made them engage. I engaged in them learning. Okay, so that was one thing. Then I did not stop there. So since they need to give exposure to speak more, so most of the students hesitate to do that. Then I gave them internal evaluation system where there 10 marks are given for oral presentation, 10 marks are for some group discussion, etc. So I said, fine. They earlier they started, oh no, how can we do oral presentation here in class? I said, no worries. I have a solution to every problem. And I have seen one thing I have observed. A teacher should be a good observer. That if you because before lockdown or maybe during the lockdown also, were men were busy with what TikTok we teach them. So I see, if you want to make presentation, I do not want you to give me oral presentation. You can make your own video and upload it on Google Classroom. And as a result, you will see, ma'am, there are many students who I have given the topics, variety of topics, and on that particular topic, I have asked them to upload your video of 2 minutes, 3 minutes on Google Classroom. And I can share with you my Google Classroom where the students have really made their presentations. So I have made them work in the way they want to learn. So that is one thing that make them responsible learners. Secondly, they say earlier they used to say that most of the times when I asked them in class, so I said I said, when you are giving examination, so you have to open your camera, see, so that the person will see who is speaking. And actually, behavioral learners cannot learn without, looking or without seeing the this thing. So initially they were saying, no, we will not open our camera because we feel scared. I said, video you are making, and what are you scared of this thing? Then they said, I said, okay, tomorrow onwards, I will also not open my camera. You will learn from the way I will teach. No, they said, ma'am, we will do it. And next day they answered, all the people opened it. Of course, there is a internet issues are there. But irrespective of that internet issue, you cannot go on the same, give it the same excuse that there is internet issue and we cannot open our camera. No, you can. So that was one thing. Then many other activities like making their projects. So giving their projects was also okay. Yeah. I'm getting the okay, fine.
Thank you, Mantri.
I think the thing you want to convey is that teacher has to be innovative. So I think with this we end the meet today, ma'am, because people are already getting late. We were supposed to end by 8:20. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.